Measuring your blood pressure every day can save you from risk of high blood pressure. MicroLife fully automatic upper arm blood pressure monitor with stroke risk detection. MicroLife AFib screens for atrial fibrillation while taking your blood pressure. High blood pressure and atrial fibrillation are both considered controllable risk factors for stroke. If AFib is present during blood pressure measurement, the AFib icon is displayed flashing at the end of the triple measurement. Once 3 measurements are complete, the measurement data are shown on the display. MicroLife, a partner for people, for life.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust Low Cost Supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low Cost Supermarket, Southern Main Road, Cunupia.
Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to C Results on IBN TV, as well as the IBN TV Facebook page and the C Results Facebook page. I am Sir Ijaz, and today is Thursday, so that means we are going to be doing mathematics from now until 6 p.m., and that will be followed by creative writing with Miss Naila. So on Monday, we were doing some Section 3 type statistics questions. And as we know, there are 3 sections to the SCA paper, and there are 4 strands of mathematics that are tested for the SCA. All right, they are number, measurement, geometry, and statistics. So we're looking to just wrap up one question here today that we started on statistics. We have almost completed it actually, and we're moving into Section 2 questions in the strand of number, which is the most numerous type of question in the paper. It's a strand with 22 out of 45 questions on the paper. All right, and just for your information, of course, you're watching us here on channel 8 or 108, as well as on the Facebook page C Results. You can also find our videos after they're aired within a day or two. We post them to our YouTube channel. Just search for C Results on YouTube or youtube.com/C Results. It's that easy. And of course, we have our web class on edmodo.com. So you actually just have to visit edmodo.com or download the app for your Apple, Android, or Windows device, and you should get started as a student preferably. All right, and enter the code that you saw on your screen there, 6KJQ3Y, and you will be inside of our class. Now, I just want to mention something about that before I move on. All right, because school has been postponed, we have had a great influx of students into the class, which is excellent. But a lot of students don't seem to know as yet how things function. So what we've been doing, we teach the classes, the live classes, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. All right, you have a nice 2 hours each of math, ELA, and creative writing throughout that time period. And then on the weekend, Saturday or sometimes Sunday, we post quizzes and assignments based on the week's content. And then you have a week essentially until Friday at 11:59 p.m. to do that English and math quiz as well as the creative writing assignment. And of course, on Monday, we give you the whole breakdown about the performance of the class, the strengths, the weaknesses, and we use your writing from creative writing and we read it live on air. Not all, of course, but we select some. So that, my friends, is how things operate. If you're on the Edmodo page and you're wondering where you can find the quizzes, you have to look under upcoming, you go to view all classwork, and when you click there, you scroll to the bottom and you'll see the latest quizzes. Now, some people have been asking about our previous quizzes, because as you may know, we have been here, we have been around since November last year. So we have many weeks of quizzes there that have already passed, and students have been awarded grades over the period of time. And we do intend at some point to make all of those available again, so the nation's students will have a nice cache of quizzes to do to occupy their time. But for now, with the great influx of students, we want everyone to get a feel for how the page is working, what is expected of them. And of course, it's a great community, right? It's not Facebook, it's not Instagram, where there's anything untoward. It's just students, and they are there to seek education. So students, all the time, they post questions, they take pictures, maybe even videos of questions that they have to do. They type them out, they post them. And in the early days when our class was very small, Ms. Nyla and myself used to have to take time to answer those questions. Now we have so many students. Even before this influx here, due to the whole COVID situation, the strongest students, they take it upon themselves to try to answer those questions, and we browse it through ever so often, and we moderate. So that way, they say the best way that you can learn something is to teach it, all right? So obviously you have to have some understanding first, but then you attempt to teach it to others, and that improves your learning, all right? So that's basically what we are about at C-Results. And of course, here on the program, we learn by your participation, all right? We teach through your participation, students. So our numbers are going to be there on the screen for you now. And like every day, we are going to be taking your calls, and you are going to assist us in answering these questions. It matters not if you get it wrong. If you are stumbling, we will guide you. And sometimes the best way to help our students is when a mistake is made. Many people out there, they have the same misconceptions. They make the same mistakes, and they're afraid to ask, especially in the real classroom. All right, but here on C-Results, you're just at home. You're there with your family, perhaps even on your own, all right? So you just call, you make your contribution, and sometimes if you stumble, it will help others who have the same misconception, and they will get it clarified as well, all right? So again, today we do have some aspects of teaching. We had basically now just gone into doing lots of questions as SEA was fast approaching on the 2nd of April, but it has been postponed, all right? We are told possibly sometime in May, but according to the Prime Minister, that may change depending on the situation. All right, so when we have opportunities to teach new content again, we are going to do it as we continue with our program. So let's get straight into our work now. Where we left off last time, again, as I said, we were in the statistics types of questions. We had already done, so many questions in the previous sections because there are only 6 questions on stats in the paper, 3 in sections 1 and 2, as well as 1 question in section 3. And we now have to just emphasize those section 3 type questions. And don't worry, you won't be disadvantaged whenever you have an opportunity. Of course, school is out. You can visit our YouTube channel and look at all of our previous episodes. And of course, all of our previous episodes are being aired now, Monday to Friday, from 8:30 a.m. to roughly 10:30 a.m. And then on the weekend, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in the same 5 to 7 time slot, this week's episode, and every subsequent week's episode will be aired at those time slots, So we have got you covered, from all angles, be it online or on air, all right? And right, so where we left off last time, we had surveyed, or we were dealing with a survey of 100 people to find out their favorite places visited during the August vacation, and we came up with some numbers. This was the first part of the question. I'm just putting it there to remind you because the second part of the question is not really dependent on the numbers here, but just to, pick up from where we left off, in case you see we start with part B and you're wondering, well, what's up with that? All right, so the people visiting the museum were a family of 5 consisting of 2 parents and 3 children. All right, the entrance fee to the museum is shown below. All right, so yes, we saw 5 people had opted to use the museum, so yes, it is somewhat connected. All right, and the entrance fee to the museum is shown below. Right, we have $8.50 for an adult and half price for the child. We would like to know whether $30 would have been enough for 5 persons to pay for the entrance fee to the museum. And you must show all working to justify your answer, right? So I'm going to take this call. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hello, sir.
Hi, good day. And who am I speaking with?
Hello, sir.
Hi, good day. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Now I'm hearing you.
All right. So who am I speaking with?
Javan.
Hey, welcome, Javan. Javan, a very ardent follower of the program. So, Javan,
Yes.
what are your thoughts for this question?
Okay, so first I would find out the price of a child. And since you could zoom in on the question, please.
Sure, that is being done currently.
Okay, so I would find 1/2 of $8.50.
Right.
And I would get $4.25.
All right, so 1/2 of 850 is 425, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So that's for a child. And what next?
So you could go back to the question.
Sure.
So now I would say $8.50 multiplied by 2 to find the total cost of the parents.
Right.
And that would give me $17.
Very good.
And then I would say $4.25 multiplied by 3 to give me $12.75.
Great.
And then I would say $12.75 add $17
Very good.
to give me $29.75.
Excellent work, Javan. So that is in fact our answer, $29.75.
75 cents.
All right, very well done to you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so just quickly to recap, we have the price of an adult being $8.50 and a child being half the price of an adult, which is $4.25. Okay, and of course, we welcome you, as our callers do. They have their pen and their paper. They are working the questions out as they come up. All right, and sometimes you need to take a little, you need to ask us to hold on for you to do some calculations. That is all fine. We welcome that as well, okay? So, again, we are told that, right, the child is half price. We have 2 adults, and we have 3 kids. So we just have to multiply now the price of the adult by 2, which gave us 17, and the price of the kids by 3, which gave us $12.75, and then the final step, we must add those together. And actually, I forgot to ask Javan the final part of the question, which is, would $30 have been enough for the 5 persons to pay for the entrance fee to the museum? Okay, and the answer would obviously in this case be yes, because the cost is $29.75, and they have $30. All right, and of course, when you're writing it in your exam, you're going to articulate it a bit better. Okay, so you're going to say yes, they would be able to afford, because the cost is, $29.75, which is 25 cents less than what they have. Therefore, they can afford it. All right, so that takes us out of the statistics now for the while, and we are returning to number, okay? And we are just in the section 2 questions when it comes to number, because it took us a long time to get through the section 1 type questions, since the number has the most amount, or number has the most number of questions, as I like to say, right? We have 10 in section 1, as well as 10 in section 2, and we also have 2 questions in the 3rd section for number. All right, so this first question here is a bit, it's a bit of an easy one, but it's going to recap something that we learned previously on See Results, and I'll tell you about how you can find that video very soon. Okay, so we must find the difference between the biggest or the largest and smallest numbers from the list below. So I'm going to take a caller to help me with this question. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to See Results. Hi, good day.
Hello.
Good day, caller. Who am I speaking with?
You are speaking with Alexi.
Okay, welcome to the program. So what are your thoughts with this question, the difference between the largest and smallest numbers from this list below?
So the first thing I have to find out is the smallest number.
Okay.
And the smallest number is 4,067.
4,067. And what is the largest number?
The largest number is 4,760.
4,760. All right, and what do we do from there?
You have to minus 4,760.
Yeah.
Minus the 4,067.
And what would that give us? You can take a moment to work that out.
$693.
Excellent. So the answer is 693. Thank you so much, caller. You're absolutely right. Okay. So again, don't be afraid to call and work it out with us on the air. Now, you know, I might gloss over some things because we've covered it already on the program, but I will just give a brief description here of what just took place for those of us who might be a little shaky still. Right? We have to determine the largest and the smallest numbers of these four. All right? Now we'll notice we have to start looking from the thousands. All right? So I'm just going to use red here for the thousands. We have hundreds, we have tens. I'll use a different color T for the tens. And we have the ones or the units. All right? So we'll notice that all of these have the same number of thousands, so that's not going to help us very much. All right? So then we look for what's next. We look at the hundreds. All right? We have two numbers with hundreds, with 7, in the hundreds column. We have two numbers with 0 in the hundreds column. So if we are looking for the largest number in this case, all right, it's fine to look for either one first. Now we have to see what's going on with the tens. The one with the larger number in the 10 place value is going to be the bigger number. So here we have a 6 in the tens and we have a 0. All right, so therefore we've found our largest number here. And then when we are looking for the smallest number now, that leaves us with these two. All right, again we have the same in the thousands, which is the 4. We have the same in the hundreds, which is 0, all right, in the place value. So what's going to distinguish it now? We're going to look at the hundreds. We notice we have a 6 here, and we have a 7 here, and 6 is smaller than 7. So therefore, we're going to opt for this number to be our smallest. And then it's basically a simple case of subtraction after that. All right, and I'm sure that gave almost none of our viewers, most of them are in standard 4 or 5. And, you know, with school being out, of course, we know there's going to be kids of all ages watching us. So, you know, maybe that little breakdown was of some benefit to you as well. All right, so here's another aspect here of place value, which, as I said, is something we've covered before extensively. These are section 2 questions, of course, so they might be a bit trickier. Sometimes you'll find that they aren't so much more difficult, because they can be with 2 or 3 marks in section 2. Section 1 questions are with 1 mark, and section 3 questions are with 4 marks each, all right? So we have to write the missing values in the boxes. So I'm going to ask my caller to read this number here for me and to tell me what numbers are missing from the boxes. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. And who am I speaking with?
Zafira Bash.
Hey, welcome, Zafira. So, Zafira, what are your thoughts for this question here?
You have to put the number in the box to multiply it, so you'll get the whole answer.
All right. So what number is this, by the way? This entire number here. Can you read that number for me?
203,709.
Excellent. 203,709. Okay, great. So you'll notice something here. The brackets here and the expanded notation, they seem to be a bit mixed up. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Because usually we put the largest one first, which is the 2 by 100,000. But as you can see here, they are a bit mixed up. So that's trying to put you off here, right? So look at what the information that we have currently on the screen and tell me what you think is the missing values in the boxes.
Can you give me a minute to work it out?
Sure, no problem. Right. So for the benefit of the viewers watching, what information do we have currently? We're dealing with the number 203,709. We have 7 times 100 plus 2 times 100,000 plus blank times blank plus 9 times 1. And we have to figure out what is missing in those boxes to complete this expanded notation. All right, so it's a bit of a tricky one. Still very much doable. The key is understanding what each of the place values mean in this numeral here. Any luck so far, Zafira?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
3 by 1,000.
Excellent. And how did you know that it was 3 by 1,000?
Because the zeros, it will be 0 by, if you multiply by 100, you'll still get 0.
Yes.
So my next thought was the 3.
All right. So basically we have, let's look at what we have, right? Thank you, you're absolutely correct. So I'll just continue to explain off here, right? All right, Zafira. So we're going to search here now, beginning from the left, and look for the expanded notation that represents each number, each digit within this numeral here, right? So we have a 2, which is in the position of hundreds of thousands, right? We have the 0 here in the tens of thousands, 3 in the thousands, all right? We have 7 in the hundreds, we have a 0 in the tens, and we have a 9 in the ones or the units. So let's begin our search. We have a 2 here, and that should be 2 multiplied by 100,000. And of course, that is accounted for. All right, we have a 0 here. Now, this is in the tens of thousands position. Now, I don't see a 0 by 10,000, but as we know, 0 multiplied by anything is going to give us 0. So therefore, if we add 0 to what we have here currently, it won't make any difference in our final number, right? So we don't have to necessarily write that out. Good? Of course, if you did, it would not be wrong, all right? But the question is deliberately trying to guide you in a certain direction. Good? So let's look now for the 3, which is in the thousands position, all right? We're looking at the brackets that we have, and we don't have a 3, and we don't have multiplied by 1,000, so that is our culprit. In the hundreds place, we have a 7. Do we have a 7 by 100? Yes, we do. And in the ones, we have a 9 by a 1, all right? And likewise for the tens, we don't see a 0 by 10, but again, that would be 0. If we multiplied all of these here in the brackets that we were given, including the one that we had to figure out, we are still going to get this answer here, irrespective of if we multiply 0 by 10,000 and 0 by 10. All right, that's how come they can leave it out. So that is the answer for this question. Thank you so much, Zafira. And as I said before, in case you're wondering, all right, you visit our YouTube channel, See Results, and these 2 videos, Season 1, Episode 1, our very first video that deals with place value, as well as our 4th episode So you look for the season 1, episode 1, the season 1, episode 4, and you will get the lowdown on the place value topics, again, on YouTube and the Sea Results channel. And later on, when we reopen some of the quizzes that would have tested all of these things, it will be, of course, to your benefit to recap using it, right? So any of these topics that we've done already and you're weak in it, yes, you can look out for it Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. If you can't do it, you can head to the YouTube channel, and study at will. So again, we are still here in number. All right, and number also covers the topic of fractions, and fractions is something that we've looked at, not in its entirety, but we have looked at quite a bit of it. And again, I'll tell you where you can find that content, okay? But for now, we have this question here. A class has 40 students. There are 22 girls in the class. Express the number of boys in the class as a fraction. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to Sea Results on IBN TV.
Hello.
Hi, good day, and who am I speaking with?
This is Aidan.
Hey, welcome, Aidan. So, Aidan, what are your ideas here?
So first you have to subtract 22 from 40 to find how many boys it is.
All right.
And you'll get 18.
Excellent. So we have 18 boys.
Yeah, so it'll be 18 over the total number of students in the class, so it should be 40.
Very good.
And then you reduce it. It'll be 9 over 20.
All right. And what common factor did you divide by to get that 9 over 40?
9 over 20.
Sorry, 9 over 20. What common
40.
factor?
I mean 2.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
All right, Aidan. Thank you for being so confident.
You're welcome.
All right. Great. So a slip of the tongue by the teacher there, but Aidan was not fazed. All right. So we learned all about reducing fractions to its lowest terms. And, all right, so we divide the numerator and the denominator by 2, and that gives us 9 over 20. All right, excellent work, Aidan. And pretty soon I'm going to tell you where you can find all of our previous videos on these introductory concepts in fractions, right? So here we have another question. We have to arrange the following fractions in ascending order. Okay, I'm not going to give it away just yet. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to Sea Results on IBN TV.
Hello?
Hi, good day, and who am I speaking with?
Oh, Zachary Taylor.
Okay, welcome to the program. So how would you go about arranging these in ascending order?
By changing them to percentages.
Into percentages? All right.
So 7 over,
No
so
problem.
7 over 10. So 7 over 10 is equal to 70%.
70%?
Yes.
All right. Keep going.
And 2 is equal to, hold on, let's calculate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Equals to 40%.
40%, that's right.
And 7 over 20 is equal to, equal to 35%.
35%, very good. So
when
what
you,
next?
So you know, since I know which is the highest and which is the smallest, the first fraction will be the first fraction will be 2/5.
Are you sure? 2/5 is how much percent?
No, 40%. No,
Right.
7 over 20.
Right, because 35 is less than 40, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and what comes
Yes.
next?
2/5
2/5
and 7 over 10.
and 7 over 10. All right, excellent work, caller. You are absolutely right. All right, so thank you so much for calling. So our caller there opted for the percentages approach. To be honest, I was not expecting that one, but it's perfectly valid. All right. And of course, we also have videos dealing with percentages, which we will link to. I'm not sure if we had more percentages content, coming up. I think we do, but it might be too far down the agenda for today. All right, but we will make that available to you when it comes up again. Okay, an alternate way, sticking here in the theme of fractions. All right, percentages also falls in the strand of number, by the way. So again, it's a valid solution, definitely worth all the marks. What we can do here now is to convert these into equivalent fractions. All right. We look at the denominators here, 5, 10, and 20. We'd notice that all of these are actually factors of the number 20. Okay, so we can bring all of them to the common denominator of 20. And here for our first fraction, we have to multiply by 2. Again, this is all explained in detail in our previous videos, so you will get links to that today. I did prepare to share that with you. Okay, and we're going to get 14 over 20. For our second fraction, 2/5. What do we have to multiply 5 by to get 20? We have to multiply by 4. So that will give us 8 over 20. And for 7 over 20, well, that's already over 20, okay? So that tells us what? That 7 over 20 is the smallest. And remember, ascending means from the smallest to the largest, all right? Then we have 2/5, which is 8 over 20. And we have 7 over 10, which is 14 over 20, being the largest of the lot. All right, so both valid approaches. And if you wanted to be even more fancy, you could even convert them to decimals, all right? So, right, so here are those episodes where we dealt with the basic concepts in fractions. We have episodes 18 and 19. All right, like we said, our program began in November, so we are still very much in the first season, although today we are 46 episodes in. All right, you go back to episodes 18 and 19 on our YouTube channel, and you will get all the information on, reducing fractions to its lowest terms, just basically what a fraction is, how you compare fractions from one to the other, how you convert fractions to equivalent fractions. All of that content is there. And again, we have quizzes to support all of these lessons. And as our users get the hang of the Edmodo app, we will start back rolling out those old quizzes, all right, so that our students will be very much occupied. On that note, we also have 3 quizzes, or 2 quizzes and an assignment due this Friday at 11:59 p.m. Again, you join the Edmodo class. You look under upcoming, all right. Currently, the kids don't have, school to socialize, so they are using Edmodo not only to share questions and help each other, but also to share, jokes and to share, their anime images and whatever they do for fun as well. It's a nice sense of community in there. Students from every corner of Trinidad and Tobago, all right? And so you're going to see a lot of that there on the timeline, all right? It kind of resembles Facebook a little bit. You're going to look under upcoming, and you'll see view all classwork, or you might just see upcoming depending on the platform you're using. And you scroll to the very end, you'll see those 3 quizzes that are due, or 2 quizzes and the creative writing. So submit that. And of course, if you get full marks in both ELA and maths, you're going to get your name live on television next week, Monday. Of course, we highlight our creative writers as well who did exceptionally. And we even shout out those who were just shy of total in ELA and maths. So it's good competition to keep, yourself motivated. But of course, if you don't get your name there, we have been saying this over and over again, you're striving for that, which is going to have a consequence of you improving as you seek to aim for the top, all right? You're only going to get better and better. So that is the real prize at the end of the day. But of course, it's very nice, even if you get your name up just one time. It's pretty cool, all right? Our students will definitely attest to that. So I'm going to take a break for 2 minutes now, and then we'll continue with our program as you rejoin me. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Chiclesia Limited, the Caribbean's largest manufacturers of plain and printed paper bags, leaders in plastic bags, vermicelli, split piece powder, and greaseproof paper, ideal for doubles, french fries, and sandwiches. Supplying stores nationwide. For quality products, trust Chiclesia Limited, 665-3336.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust Low Cost Supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high-quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low Cost Supermarket, Sun and Main Road, Cunupia.
Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to C Results on IBN TV 8, as well as the IBN TV Facebook page and the C Results Facebook page. And of course, you might be viewing this later on our YouTube channel, C Results. So we are still here in fractions, and we are in the number strand again, section 2 of your SEA paper. All right, we won't be able to do every single thing in number in this program. I do intend to continue with it on Monday, the section 2 number that is, but even that won't be enough, as we know number has a lot of topics. Okay, so over the weeks, as we do, we transition from strand to strand, we bounce around the paper in order. In terms of strand, we start from the beginning and move forward, but we like to juggle the topics to keep it interesting. And of course, we are not sure when exactly SEA will be, tentatively in May, so that's still not too far away. So we are trying to cover as many topics as we possibly can, all right? So here in this question, we are told that 2/3 of Chris's stickers is equal to 1/2 of Zafira's stickers. Chris has a total of 24 stickers. How many stickers does Zafira have? All right? So Chris has 2/3, or 2/3 of his stickers is equal to 1/2 of Zafira's stickers, and Chris has 24. All right, so we need to figure out basically what is 24, what is 2/3 of 24, and that is going to give us the equivalent of 1/2 of Zafira's stickers. Once we know what 1/2 is, it will be pretty simple for us to figure out how much the whole is in terms of the number of stickers that Zafira has. And again, I said, you know, we have a little extra time now in the lead up to SCA, so we'll just try to explain things a bit more as we proceed, as we had been doing in the early part of the season, all right, before SCA started to get very near. So when we are multiplying fractions by whole number, it's basically a very straightforward procedure. What we have to do is to place the whole number over a denominator of 1, and we multiply the both numerators, and we put that over the product of the denominators. And product again means when we multiply the both denominators, and then we have to simplify, all right? So that could include reducing. It could include also, more often than not, you're going to have to convert from improper fraction to a mixed number. And again, that is something that we did cover and we did get to teach, all right, extensively in the earlier part of the season. So you can refer to those videos previously, and there's even more videos specifically dealing with improper fractions and mixed numbers. I will tell you where to find that very soon. Okay, so before we do, now I just gave you the instructions. You put the whole number over 1, you multiply by the fraction. Here we are dealing with proper fractions. All right, so the numerator is smaller than the denominator, and then we have to simplify. So I'm going to take some callers to help me knock these 3 off before we return to our question with Chris and Zafira, all right, just to make sure that we are on the same page. So if you know how to do this question, our numbers are available on the screen. We have 6 by 3/5, 3/4 by 16, and 5/8 by 11. Okay, so I have a caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to C Results.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Who am I speaking with?
Jonathan Sinanan.
Hey, welcome, Jonathan. Jonathan, the ace writer. So, Jonathan, what would you do to multiply 6 by 3/5?
Well, I will put 6 over 1.
Yes.
Multiply by 3/5.
Yes.
6 by 3 is 18 over 5.
Correct.
5 into 18 is 3.
Yeah.
Remainder 3 over 5. So my answer is 3 and 3/5.
Excellent work, Jonathan. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, so that's absolutely right. We put the whole number over the denominator of 1, and we multiply by the proper fraction. We multiply numerators, and we get 18. We multiply the denominators, we get 5. And now we have to convert into a mixed number. All right, I won't go through the whole concept of converting that today. I will tell you where you can find our video. All right, so 5 can go into 18 3 times. 5 3s are 15. And we have a remainder of 3. And we put that remainder over the denominator. That gives us 3 and 3/5. What about 3/4 by 16? Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. And who am I speaking with?
Zafira Bash.
Hey, welcome back, Zafira. So, Zafira, how would you multiply 3/4 by 16?
I would say 3 over 4 multiplied by 16 over 1.
Very good.
Which gives me 12.
All right, how you got that 12?
Well, I cancelled, I say 4 into 4, 1, 4 into 16, 4.
Yeah.
And then I said 4 by 3, 12.
All right, so you got 12 over 1. And anything over 1 is the same number itself, right?
Yes.
All right, very good, Zafira.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so this is a little bit different to our first example because, well, for one thing, we get a whole number when we multiply as opposed to an improper fraction, which in turn can be converted to a mixed number. All right, and also we learned something here that is cross multiplication or cross cancelling. All right, so what that is basically if you have common factors either diagonally or vertically, you can cancel using those common factors just as you would reduce fractions, all right? But you will never and can never reduce horizontally, okay? It's only ever going to be diagonally or vertically, all right? So 4 and 16, they share the factor of 4, all right? So we say 4 into 4, 1, and 4 into 16, which is 4. We multiply the numerators, and we get 12 over 1. All right, 12 over 1 essentially is 12 divided by 1, okay? And anything divided by the number 1 is that number itself. Or alternatively, all right, you don't have to do the cross multiplication and the cancelling. If you find that that will confuse you, okay, we can stick to the method I gave before, all right, which is to multiply the numerators. 16 by 3 is 48, divided by 4 by 1 is 4, and then you can say 4 over 48 and reduce it again. 4 into 4, 1, 4 into 48, 12. You get 12 over 1, and we'll end up with the same answer of 12. So you have two methods there, all right? You can cross cancel before you multiply, or vertically cancel if it was possible, all right? Remember, there must be common factors in order to do that. And then we reduce or simplify at the end. So our last one, before we turn to our real practice question, 5/8 by 11. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. And who am I speaking with?
Sydney.
Welcome, Sydney. So, Sydney, what is your approach to this question here, your solution?
Well, I would say 5 over 8 multiplied by 11 over 1.
Right.
And you could see 8 can go into 5 or 11.
Right.
So you multiplied 5 by 11, and you'll get 55.
Very good.
And 8 by 1 is 8.
Yes.
And that's 55 over 8. And if you change that to a mixed number, 55 divided by 8 is 6.
Yes.
And remainder 7, which is 7 over 8. So the answer will be 6 and 7 over 8.
Excellent. Is this Sydney Slater?
Yes.
Right. I saw on Edmodo that you said you were shy the last time, but you sounded very confident today, Sydney.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling and for helping us out, right? All right, so that was Sydney, guys. And as Sydney just said, you know, to illustrate our point from before, she checked to see whether 8 shared any common factors vertically or diagonally, all right? No common factors there, okay, except technically the number 1, but then it would make a difference if we divided everything by 1, okay? So we multiply the 5 by the 11, we get 55. The 8 by the 1, which is 8, which is something you could have done anyway, right? You don't have to cross-cancel. It's not mandatory, okay? And you get 55 over 8, and 6 8s are 48, right? 7 8s would have taken it too far to 56, and we have a remainder of 7 over 8, and that is the answer for this practice question. And improper fractions, mixed numbers. Again, you go to our YouTube channel. You look for season 1, episode 38. All right, you even have parts of the titles and all of these screenshots that I'm sharing with you. So you can easily look for that on youtube.com/CResults, or you can just type C results into the search bar and you will find us. All right, don't forget to subscribe and to share as well. So it's improper fractions, mixed numbers dealt with extensively in those videos, as well as the basic fraction videos I shared with you before. So now we are here back to where we started, all right? So I'm going to take a caller to assist me with this problem. Good afternoon, caller.
This is Aidan.
Hey, welcome back, Aidan. So Aidan, what are your thoughts for this question now? Are you seeing the question, Aidan?
Yes. So you'll need to find 2/3 of 24.
All right. So how do I do that?
You'll be 2/3 multiplied by 24 over 1.
Excellent.
And you'll get 16.
16?
Yes.
All right, help me out there. How did you achieve that?
3 into 24, 8.
All right, so 3 into 3, 1.
By 2 is 16.
All right. So you get 16 over 1, which is the same as 16. Good?
Yes.
So therefore, 16 is equal to what?
Now equal to a half of Zafira's sickles.
Excellent.
So the half equals 16.
Yes.
So you'll find the reciprocal of 1 half.
Right.
Which will be 2 over 1 multiplied by 16 over 1.
Excellent. And what would that give me?
32.
All right. So you.
Zafira will have 32 stickers.
So Zafira will have
32 stickers.
Stickers. Excellent job, Aidan. All right. So as Aidan rightly did, 2/3 of Chris's stickers is equal to 1/2 of Zafira's. We find the 2/3 of the 24, which is how many Chris has in total, and we got 16. Okay, so we know that 16 is equal to 1/2 of Zafira's. All right, and we found the reciprocal and multiplied, and we got our 32 stickers. Thank you so much, Aidan, for calling. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, so here we have another question dealing with fractions and whole numbers being multiplied by each other. So oranges were packed in boxes of 90. There were 5 packed boxes. 1/6 of the oranges were rotten. How many oranges were not rotten? All right, good afternoon, caller. Welcome to See Results.
Oranges were not rotten.
Hello?
Hi, good day. Good day, caller.
Hello?
Yes, caller, who am I speaking with?
Javan.
Hey, welcome, Javan. So, Javan, what are your thoughts here?
So first I would... Wait, I could just read over the question.
Sure, go ahead. You can read it out loud if you want.
Okay.
And you guys at home should be trying to work it out as well.
Huh?
Oh, just telling the viewers that they can work it out as well.
Oh, okay. So I would say 90 multiplied by 5
Yes.
to give you 450.
And what is this 450? What is that?
The total amount of oranges.
Excellent.
And if 1/5 were rotten and they want to find out how many were rotten,
Yeah.
I would say 6 over 6, take away 1 over 6
Okay.
to give you 5/6.
Right.
And 5/6 multiplied by 450 is, hold on, I'm working it out.
Okay. So while he works it out, I'll just reiterate what he just said. We multiplied 90 by 5 to get the total number of oranges that were packed. Okay, we have 90 oranges in a box and 5 boxes. 1/6 of the oranges were rotten, and we want to know the number of oranges that were not rotten.
So,
Right.
so I have my answer. So my answer is 375 oranges.
Okay, so you said we subtracted the ones that were rotten, yes? And we got
Yes,
5,
sir.
6 being not rotten, and you
Yes,
multiplied
sir.
that by 450,
Yes, sir.
and this gave you what? 300 and?
75.
All right. You want to let me know how you did that?
Yes, sir. So I said 6 into 45 is 7, and you have 3 remaining. So 3 and the 0 would give you 30, and 6 into 30 is 5, and that is 75, and I would say 75 multiplied by 5. 5 5s are 25, and then I would put the 5 there. I would put the 5 under the ones column. Then I would see 7 multiplied by 5 to give me 35, and I would add 2 to give me 37, and that would be 375.
375. All right. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. All right. So again, we can cross-cancel here. We can say 3 into 6, 2, and 3 into 450 is 150. Then we can cancel with 2. 2 into 2, 1. 2 into 150 is 75. And we multiply the 75 by the 5. All right. Of course, I must double check our caller's work to make sure we aren't misguiding anyone. And 375 it is. All right. So that is actually our correct answer. Okay. All right. So Julia attends music classes 3 times per week. Each class lasts 1 3/4 hours. How many hours of classes does she attend in a fortnight? All right. Now, this is not a measurement question. All right. We are not dealing with minutes and seconds and so on and hours. All right. In terms of breaking it up into those units of time. Okay. We are dealing with basically a fraction question. All right. That involves a concept of time. Now, I do have something to explain here first. You'll notice that we have Julia attending music classes 3 times per week. All right, and this is the duration of a class, 1 3/4 hours. And we want to know how much classes or how many hours of class she attends for a fortnight. So we must know what a fortnight is. But we'll notice here, we are multiplying a whole number, which is 3, by a mixed number. All right, and again, we have links to the concept of mixed numbers and improper fractions previously, some moments ago. And so I have to explain basically how we multiply this. All right, so remember we just multiplied proper fractions by whole numbers. So it's almost the same thing. All right, first we have to write the whole number with a denominator of 1, convert the mixed number to an improper fraction. All right, multiply the numerators and put the result over the product of the denominators, just like we did before with the proper fractions and the whole numbers. And we have to again simplify our answer. All right, so we may not get to answer the actual question today, but we can have some practice with these. All right, so good afternoon, caller. Welcome to See Results. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
Hi, and who am I speaking with?
David.
Hey, welcome, David. So, David, how would we multiply 2 1/4 by 6?
First, I would change 2 1/4 to improper fraction.
Yes.
So that would be 2 by 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, would be 9/4.
Yes.
And then you multiply by 6.
What do we do with that 6?
You reduce that by 2, 2 into 6, 3, and 2 into 4, 2.
All right, so we put it over 1, right? Yeah, 2 into 4, 2, 2 into 6, 3. Keep going.
Then be 9 3s are 27, and that will be 27 over 2.
Yes.
And 2 into 27, that is 13, 2s are 26, remainder 1, which is 13.5.
Excellent. So that is 13.5. And again, viewers, very well done, sir. Caller, we have learned previously on C Results how to convert between mixed numbers to improper fractions and improper fractions to mixed numbers. And I told you all about the video specifically before some moments ago, right? So let's take another caller. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to C Results.
Hello, sir.
Hi, good day. And who am I speaking with?
Javan.
Hey, welcome, Javan. So, Javan, 1.5 by 5. How do we do that?
1.5 or 11.5?
1.5.
1.5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Announce it.
Yeah.
So I will change 1.5 to 3 over 2.
Very good.
And 3 over 2 multiplied by, and I would say 3 over 2 multiplied by 5.
Yes. 5 over 1, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. 5 over 1. So since nothing can be cancelled, I would say 5 multiplied by 3 to give you 15.
Yes.
And 15 over 2 would be equal to 7.5.
Excellent. All right, Javan, we are running out of time, so will you help me with this final question?
Okay, sir.
Go ahead. So we have 4 multiplied by 2 1/3.
Okay, so firstly, I will change 2 1/3 to 7 over 3.
Very good.
And I would say 7 over 3 multiplied by 4. And since nothing can reduce, I would say 4 multiplied by 7 is 28.
Yeah.
And 28 over 3 is 9 1/3.
Excellent. 9 3s are 27. Remainder.
And 1 would be 9 and 1/3.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your help, my friend. All right, guys, so that is all the time that I have for today. We're going to be joined in a few moments by Miss Nyla with creative writing. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for viewing. Remember to like our Facebook page, subscribe to us on YouTube, watch the reruns Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 10:30, as well as the live shows Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. And those are rerun from 5 to 7 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can find all of our videos on the See Results Facebook page under the videos tab or on our YouTube channel, all right? And make sure and join our Edmodo class. And make sure, guys, and complete your homework before 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, all right? Thank you so much. I have been Sir Ijaz. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening guys, and welcome back to C Results. I'm Miss Nyla and you are joining me now for creative writing. I want to say good evening to all our viewers, whether you are joining us on a live stream on Facebook via the C Results page or the IBN TV 8 page, or watching us home, in the comfort of your homes, on your couch, on television, on channel 8 or channel 108, depending on your provider. Welcome guys, and I hope that you're having a great week so far. Right, about the SCE exam, we know that the exam has been postponed. Date is yet to be confirmed. We are looking at tentatively in May, but until then, we have some extra time, which means that we have some reinforcement to do, right? And we can probably touch on a couple topics, that students would like us to, right? So maybe in one of these sessions, I would allow, students to tell us, what are some of the problem areas. So, for example, for creative writing today, when I take a couple calls, you can tell me, what area in narrative or report you're having difficulty with, or even in ELA, right? And I will try my best to help you as best as possible to get ready for that SCE exam. So, as you know, for creative writing, we completed all the content for narrative as well as expository style writing. So what we are doing now, we are using your pieces, some of the submissions from the students by the Edmodo class, and we are going to read them today using the rubric. So we have some reports to look at, and as well as narrative. Now, the reports will not be from the submissions of the students as yet. As you know, that assignment is due on Friday at 11:59. So next week, look out for your reports. But this week, we will be using your narrative submission. And I do have 2 other reports I would like to touch on as well, okay? So we're going to go through the first report for today, right? So let's look at this topic here. And I don't know how many of you would have written a topic similar to this, and probably what you would have written as well, right? So a famous local person came to your school, addressed students during assembly, and presented prizes to students of your class. Write a report to your principal on what happened during that assembly. Among the factual information presented in your report, you may also consider who the famous local person was, reason or reasons for the visit to your school, what the famous person spoke to students about, who received prizes, reason or reasons why particular students received prizes, the behavior of students during the assembly, right? So you're required to write about the appearance of a famous local person at your school. Now, so let's look at some keywords here for your topic, right? They said that a famous local person. So somebody well-known, right? The meaning of the word famous, and local. Right, so local, somebody from your country, right? So just be very mindful of that, right? That's easy to pass by, easily, can go undetected. So they want you to tell about the prizes presented to students of your class, as well as a couple other things here. Now, before that, you would see, among the factual information presented. Now, why are they telling you among the factual information presented? As you know, for report style writing or expository writing, it is based on factual information, right? With your report, as we have been saying, report is a little more strict in their style of writing. There are a couple of things that you must do and things that you must stay away from. The report writing and the narrative style writing are completely different, right? So there are some rules that you need to adhere to. For example, you know that you can't use dialogue. You must maintain your formal tone. Write in past tense, try to avoid, the use of the pronouns I, we, all of those things. Now, I did share a number of tips with regards to report writing, some of the things just as I just mentioned, that we have to stay away from in the report. And probably next week again, when we're doing some reports, I will probably reiterate those, right? But as we read along and move along in this report, looking at the sample piece for the student presented here, we are going to come across a few of those points. Right, so let's go ahead and read this report, and then I'll probably take a couple calls. So students, you can give me your take on the report. Right, so just before we go to the report itself, let's just reread this and ensure that we have, the topic in mind, exactly what we are looking for. And I want you to pay special attention to some of the key points the prompt has given here, because these are the things we are going to be looking for in your writing, as well as using the rubric to assess. Right, so among the factual information presented in your report, you may also consider who the famous local person was, right? Reason or reasons for your visit to the school, for the visit to your school, what the famous person spoke to students about who received prizes, reason or reasons why particular students received prizes, and the behavior of students during the assembly, right? So let's go on to the report here. Pay attention to any errors that you may come across, and when you call us, you can help us with those, right? On the 30th October 2017, a famous person came to our school and visited our class, and her name is Ariana Grande. Now, I do believe this is supposed to be Ariana Grande, but we'll get to that shortly, right? She came at 8:30 a.m., and during assembly, Mrs. Sonny told us that there is someone that is visiting our school. So she came by our classes and talked about how to dress when going out, and since we all dress appropriately, she gave us a prize. All the girls got a hamper, supposed to be hamper, right? And bead set, so bath set, and hair clips and shoes, and the boys got a hamper as well as a bath set, but with men's stuff in it. And the boys did not get any shoes at all. The girls got a lot of shoes like heels, flats, Reebok, Nike, Puma, Polo, Jordan, Adidas, and stuff like that. When school was over and I arrived home, I saw this big truck filled of stuff like a chair and table for makeup and emoji stuff and other. I was so happy, and the next day of school, she came again, and we all told her, "Thank you, Ariana Grande." She said to us, "You're welcome, and thank you all for liking my videos and subscribing. I reached 1 million follower, likes, and subscribers, so I will keep doing this for you to do." Okay, so that was the end of that report there. Before I give away any of the comments that I have here, I'm going to take a couple calls. And I want you to share with me, what are your first thoughts, your initial thoughts upon having read this report, right? What comes to mind? Is it, something that you will write? Give me the positives, give me the negatives, and so on, right? So let's take this call. Good evening, and welcome to See Results. Call, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, welcome. What's your name?
Hi.
Hi, good evening. Welcome to See Results. You are live with us. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, caller?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, what are your thoughts on this report?
Yes.
I'm not sure if you're hearing me too well. I'm not hearing you. Are you there?
Hello, there.
Hi, good evening. Welcome. What's your name?
Kaylee Spencer.
Hi, Kaylee. Thanks for joining us. So tell me, Kaylee, what are some of your thoughts about this report?
I think that this report has a few spelling errors and grammatical errors.
Okay, so some spelling, some grammatical errors, right? If you had to write a report about such a topic, would you be able to do it easily, or would it give you some problems?
I think I'll be able to do it easily.
Okay, and tell me, right, which style of writing do you prefer, narrative or expository?
Narrative.
Narrative. Why is that?
Because expository gives me a little bit of problem.
All right, no problem. So we'll work on that together, right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Kaylee. All right, so I'm going to open the lines again. Feel free to call me. All right, tell me, what are your thoughts? Good evening. Welcome to See Results.
I think I'll be able to do it easily. Okay, and tell me, right, what kind of...
Hi, good evening.
Narrative or expository? Narrative. Narrative.
Caller, are you there with us? Okay, I'm not sure if the caller is there. Right, but when you are commenting, guys, I want you to comment on just as we do with the rubric. So we are looking at content, for example, right? Tell me if everything was there that needed to be in content aspect, for example. And I do have another caller. Good evening and welcome to See Results. Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. What's your name? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure if the phone lines are giving us a little bit of problems, right? But the number is up on your screen. Call us, guys. Right? We're going to take your opinions. Hi, welcome to See Results.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
Jonathan Springer.
So, Jonathan, welcome. So, tell me, Jonathan, right? What are your thoughts? Positives, negatives, anything that you'd like to share with us?
Well, it had punctuation errors and some spelling errors.
All right. Anything else you noticed about this? Were you able to follow the report?
Well, and one other thing is the person didn't structure the report properly.
What do you mean by structure the report properly? What is missing in the structure?
So the person had a good idea for the report.
Right.
It's just that the thoughts were all over the place.
Okay, I understand. Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay, thank you so much for calling. All right, so I'm just going to go to the first paragraph here. Right, and I'm going to take this call to help me. Good evening and welcome to See Results.
Hi.
Hi, good evening, welcome. What's your name?
This is Aidan.
Hi, Aidan, welcome. So tell me, what are your thoughts on this report?
While going through, I noticed a few spelling errors and punctuation.
Okay, so tell me, in the first paragraph here, aside from spelling and punctuation, which you are correct, in the first paragraph of the report, is the date given?
Well, in the prompt, they said local person, but Ariana Grande isn't a local person,
Excellent
so they could
point.
lose marks for that.
Excellent point, right? They said local, and you're supposed to adhere to that guideline. So, anything else you'd like to share with us about the first introductory paragraph in this report? So, we're looking at date, time, probably location, person's names.
You could put the time in words.
You can?
The time in words.
Okay, all right. And anything else, or is that it?
They forget to put the name in capital letters.
Great observation as well. And what else?
And a comma after 2017.
All right, excellent job. Thank you so much.
And the TH after the 30th.
All right, right. So good idea, right? So we have an idea, a fair idea of what we are looking for. Thanks for calling. All right. Okay, guys. So I'm going to stop the calls there for now, and we're going to go ahead to use the rubric to analyze this piece. Now, remember, when we are looking at this, we're not only looking at the guidelines given in the rubric. We're also looking at what the prompt asks for. So there were specific things that the prompt asks for. For example, who was a famous local person? Right? Somebody already pointed out that the person mentioned in this report is not local. Right? And they specifically asked for a local person. There are many local artists or icons that you could have mentioned, that can relate to your country, right? Reasons for the visit, right? So from, remembering what you just read, do you recall the reasons for the visit to the school, right? What the famous person spoke to the students about, right? Who received the prizes and the reason that the prizes were received, right? Was it a good reason? Was it properly explained? Do you understand fully what is happening here and the behavior of the students during the assembly, right? So let's go to the rubric and let's look here. So as usual, we have our descriptors here that acts as a guideline telling us, or the reader what we are looking for. And then we have our general comments about the piece. So in our descriptors, we are looking for relevant main ideas. Some of the main ideas would have been from the prompt, right? They gave you that to act as a guideline. You should have followed that, right? Making it very simple for you. And of course, supporting details for your main ideas and following the style of paragraph writing. What happening from beginning to end, right? So that will come throughout your content once you have covered everything that they asked for. Persons involved. So this is persons involved, right? Now, it's not limited only to an incident where you'd have to give the names of persons. But for example, a person was mentioned in this report, right? So was their first name given and was their last name given? Location of the event, date, and time. So these are what we are looking for in our report. So let's go to the comments here, right? So date and time of the visit were mentioned, right? Now we did see an error there with the date. Somebody said it could have added the TH and so on, right? It was not mentioned where the assembly was being held. So location, right? You can put a question mark by location there. The name of the visiting person was given, although it was spelled differently in different paragraphs. The reason for the visit was not explicitly stated. The details of the lecture were briefly mentioned. Details were given about the prizes that were distributed. Details were not given about the students' reaction to the visit. Right? So let's break this down a bit. Just as we said, Yes, the name of the person was given. We know that names are proper nouns, hence they should be in capital letters, right? So that's very easy for us to remember. We have been learning that since the start of infants maybe, right? So you should know that by now. Also, the reasons for the visit, it was not clearly stated. You could have given, a better reasoning, maybe motivational speaker, probably it was a graduation or something like that, right? The details of the lecture were briefly mentioned, right? They spoke about dress wear being appropriate and so on. Details were given about the prizes that were distributed. Now, the prizes were distributed for what reason? Because they were appropriately dressed, right? Details were not given about the students' reaction to the visit. Remember, with a report, you have to limit your expressions, right, and feelings, so that is in terms of using your adjectives or figurative language or sensory details. So if and when you are telling us about the student's reaction, please limit it and know how you are using your grammar specifically for this, right? We just remember with report writing, we are not allowed to describe fully, right? So we can't give colors, we can't give emotions, can't give feelings, can't use figurative language, sensory details, and all of that, right? So be very mindful of that point, although they are asking you for the student's reaction, right? Keep it short, keep it sweet. All right, next point. Before I go on there, I must mention the content, however, remember in each of the criteria, you are allotted 5 marks in total, right? For content, this person was awarded 3 out of 5. I don't know how many of you agree there, right? So 3 out of 5. Remember, we are aiming for 5 out of 5, essentially. But let's move on here, right? Now we are on to language use, right? So with language use, we are looking for factual language, formal language, and varied sentence types, right? So those are the descriptors. So let's see what some of our comments look like. The report is written in a very conversational style, right? And we can see that the tone is quite informal. The boys got a hamper, but with men's stuff in it. Try to avoid the use of the word stuff. It's a bit vague, okay? Not very formal as well. So it gives you that impression of a conversational, informal style of writing. Stuff like that, again, was repeated, right? I saw this big truck. Big here, descriptive. Remember, we are staying away from our adjectives. I was so happy, again. Run-on sentences sometimes impede readability, right? So all of this here. She gave us a prize. All the girls got a hamper and bath set and hair clips and shoes, and the boys got a hamper as well as a bath set, but with men's stuff in it, and the boys did not get any shoes at all. The girls got a lot of shoes like heels, flats, Reebok, Nike, Puma, Polo, Jordan, Adidas, and stuff like that. So that was quite a mouthful, right? It takes your breath away. So try to avoid your run-on sentences. Use your punctuation as necessary. Now, if you're one of those students, you are having difficulty with use of punctuation and knowing when to use a comma or when to use a semicolon or even a full stop or exclamation mark, whenever necessary, right? Go back to our earlier videos when we were looking at, or when we just started the ELA paper, because the format of this, this C-Results program, how we started initially, we took the approach using the C-Results papers, those practice papers that we are accustomed to. So we focus mainly on what SE is looking for. So we know that SE is broken down into different tasks, and that is how we structured the program for ELA and for creative writing, right? Looking specifically at what SE is asking for, right? So there's an entire task dedicated to punctuation and capitalization, even spelling, grammar, mechanics. So that's 3 different tasks there, which we already covered, so which means the content is available for you. What you have to do, simply go to our YouTube channel, because I'm telling you YouTube, because it's nicely labeled for you there, right? It's very easy to find. You can even search, right, by some keywords, and you will be able to detect that video. Okay, guys, I have to take a short pause. It's time for the Maghrib Adhan, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to continue with our creative writing. Stay tuned with us. We'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum, good evening guys, and welcome back to See Results. I'm Ms. Naila and you are tuned in for our creative writing session today. So just before the break, we read our first report for today and we started analyzing using the rubric. We just covered content and now we are on to language use. And actually we are at the end of language use and we're going to move on to organization, right? So organization of this report, let's discuss a bit, right? We are looking at clearly defined introduction, body, and conclusion, right? So I must be able to tell where the introduction is, the body of the report is, and the conclusion, of course. All ideas, paragraphs, details are logically sequenced, right? Skillful use of transitional words and phrases to link ideas. As you are very well acquainted with by now, you know that there are specific transitional words that pertain to report style writing. Right now, if you don't know them, they are available for you on our videos, so you can check them out. Right? We know that the transitional words for report differs from that of narrative style writing. So the introduction, body, and conclusion can be discerned, right? So we know where the report started. We can tell where the body is and how it concluded. However, for it being logically sequenced, right? How easy was this report for you to follow? Were you confused by what you were reading? Right now, it was not entirely confusing. You were able to follow, right? Details could have been written a little more coherently, of course, with the use of transitional words or suitable transitional words to make that flow of reading smoother, right? Hence the reason for transitional words. Incorrect transitional words and phrases were used, right? For example, so she came by, we know we're not allowed to say or to write such as this, right? Aside from straying from the formal tone and so on, right? If you read this, so I will keep doing this if you do, right? It's conversational style. Use the appropriate transitional word. Make your reading, or your reader, able to understand what you are reading, right? You don't want to impede readability on your report. So to keep that in mind. Right? And finally, grammar mechanics. When we speak about grammar mechanics, we're talking about capitalization, parts of speech, punctuation, and spelling. Now, a number of callers did point out some spelling errors and punctuation, as well as even capitalization, right? So we know that names of shoes were not capitalized. We know that each brand is a proper noun, as well as the person that was mentioned, right? So Ariana Grande also should have been capitalized, all proper nouns. Right, paragraph 2 is a run-on sentence. We did look at that example earlier. Right, paragraph 3 is a run-on sentence as well. Right, so use your punctuation to help you to avoid run-on sentences. Right, spelling errors detected. For example, visiting, right, hamper, bath set, and share. Right, now these are very simple spelling errors. Right, so the whole idea of behind showing you this report, I'm showing you this because this is a reality of it. It's very easy for you to make a lot of mistakes in each aspect of your rubric. Now, like I always say, you can use or follow along the guidelines in your rubric to help you, right? And if you feel like you are struggling in one particular area in report style writing, for example, give us a call. Let us know, what is troubling you, what is giving you problems, what is your challenge. If you're, probably ashamed to give us a call live on the program, the Edmodo class is available. You have the option of sending myself or Saija a message, right? So let us know, what we can help with, right? Because as simple as this topic may have been, you need to know what is the format of a report and the do's and the don'ts. And if you don't know them, you don't follow them, right? You're not familiar with it. It's very simple for you to end up at a 10 marks at the end of a report, right? Now 10 might seem as, a lot to some people, but 10 is is 11 marks that this child was awarded for this report, right? So that's barely the half mark, right? Just over the half mark there for the report style writing, and that is not our aim. We are aiming at 20 out of 20, right? 19 for the least, right? So just be mindful of all these little errors. And when we do it together and we identify the errors together, we become aware. When we are even writing our reports, right, we become aware of, what not to do or what missaid that we should do, right? And as well as your teacher, of course, right? Follow those guidelines wherever they are given to you, right? So I do have another interactive report activity, but we are, halfway in the program, and we did promise students that we would read their pieces, because now we are at the end. We are at the end of the phase where students were asked to write a narrative piece, right? So now we're going to read the entire narrative piece. For the past couple of weeks, we have been reading, the paragraph submission that you all have been submitting. Now we want to read the entire piece and, help you along, tell you, what are the positives, what are the negatives, some of the things to improve on, and some of the things that were exceptionally well done, right? So next day, I do hope to do this interactive creative writing piece with you. If time permits today, I will get it done, right? But let's go to this narrative style for now. So we just looked at a report or expository piece, and now we're going to use or look at a narrative style piece. All right, so this was your scenario here. You were with your father standing in line to pay for your groceries at a popular supermarket. Suddenly, the fire alarm went off. Everyone looked around nervously. Write a story describing what happened and how the situation ended, right? So those of you who have been with us on the Edmodo class, you will be familiar with this topic here. You may even see your submission up here, right? Or have seen your submission, throughout the weeks here. For our new viewers and those wishing to become a part of the Edmodo class, you may have opportunity like this, right? So you can submit, for example, this week we have a report due, right? So you can submit your report, and you'll have a chance to see us review it live on TV here, right? So that is exactly what we are doing. This is something, these narrative pieces were written by students in the Edmodo class, and this is how we are going to look at it now, right? So as you all know, this is what your narrative rubric looks like. We will not be using the rubric per se just as we broke down the report, but we will get to, to close to it, or as close to it as we can. Right, so let's read this piece here. My heart was beating painfully fast and banging against my chest. Screams filled the atmosphere as the lights went out at the JTS supermarket located C3 Mall Current. My dad and I was standing in line to cash our groceries when suddenly the fire alarm went off. Bring! We heard a loud crack, 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 and the atrocious scent of burnt wires filled the air. There was a cloud of smoke surrounding the area. Everyone began to panic, except for my dad, who was more alert than a venomous snake. Immediately, my dad, in a dash, took out his cell phone and called the emergency services, 990 for the fire department and 811 for ambulance services. It was already a busy Friday evening, and shoppers was hustling and bustling when the alarm went off. My dad urged me not to be scared and stay close to him, since he was determined to guide and assist everyone to safety. As I looked to the far end of the supermarket, I saw layers of thick smoke emerging from the back of the building, like an erupting volcano. Although I was swallowed by fear, I trusted my dad because he is a retired firefighter and he has the experience in handling drastic situations. He started ushering people by asking everyone to form a single file line. This, he said, would make it quick and effective to evacuate everyone safely to the nearest exit. We heard a loud cry coming from the back of the building. Help! Help! Someone help me, please. My dad advised everyone to hustle towards the exit, while both of us bolted to the back. We called out, "Where are you?" A weak voice cried as the black smoke thickened. "I am here by the deli section. Hurry, hurry." As we approached, there she was, a petite old lady on a motor cart. She seemed to be stuck between the aisle and was unable to walk. Her gray eyes were gleaming through the smoky atmosphere, with streaks of tears streaming down from her frail and fragile face. Her lips were pale and pressed into a tight, thin line. The old lady said, "My name is Clara, kind sir, and my son dropped me off and went to pay his phone bill at the digital pay center." "Okay, Miss Clara, don't you worry your pretty little head," exclaimed Dad. "You are going to be okay." My fearless father comforted Miss Clara by telling her that he was going to carry her out in his arms safely. Her face turned soft and sympathetic as her voice whispered, thank you, kind sir." "No problem, ma'am," Dad replied, "but we must hurry." The old lady, with her skin sickly gray-colored, with her wrinkled arms, hugged my dad's neck as he lifted her off the motor cart. Hold on tight, he said to her and asked me to go get her handbag and walking stick as we hustled vigorously to the nearest exit. A loud noise echoed, crack, 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 boom. The air was thick with choking fumes. The ground trembled and shook as items were crashing to the floor. Frightening thoughts racing through my mind as I felt a wave of fear rush into my palpitating heart as we hurried through the dark, ominous clouds of smoke. A blaring sound of a siren was heard. Finally, I said with tears streaming down my cheeks, Dad told me, "Don't lose faith now. Help has arrived." There was a sea of red rushing towards us. It was the firefighters charging through the front entrance with their slithering hose as they attacked the flames with full force. One of the firefighters approached my dad and took Miss Clara from his arms. Her face lit up with an infectious smile. She was then taken away to an awaiting ambulance to be treated. Cheers of jubilation filled the atmosphere as both my dad and I exited the building. I was consumed with elation. I saw my dad looked to the heavens and said a silent prayer. His eyes glittered with tears. He put his arms around me and hugged me tightly with a smile plastered on his face, saying, "You are very brave, my son, and I am very proud of you." We were then accompanied by medical personnel and taken to be treated for smoke inhalation, right? Well written by Jonathan Sinanan, right? So excellent job, Jonathan Sinanan, right? So I'm going to take a couple calls, and I am, intrigued to hear what students has to say about this piece, right? So the numbers are up on your screen. We're probably going to take about 2 calls, and then we are going to review this piece together, right? Now, right, we do have a caller. Good evening and welcome to See Results. Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. What's your name? Are you there with us, caller?
Guys on.
Nice to have you with us. So tell me, what are your thoughts about this piece? Positives, negatives, or just a general comment?
What are your thoughts about this piece? Positive, negative, or just a general comment?
Well, it's good.
So it's good, okay. What was good about it?
Well, it's good. So it's good, okay. What was good about it?
Well, that it's
what did you
it's
enjoy?
well written, but there's some things that they could fix in it.
Like what? Do you remember?
Like subject-verb agreement.
Okay, all right, I understand that. I know which point you are talking about. Anything else?
Not really.
Okay, so a job well done to Jonathan then.
Huh?
A job well done to Jonathan?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for calling and participating. Right, okay, and I'm going to take one more call. Right, so I'm going to hold on there for a caller. In the meantime, you can reflect upon this piece, gather your thoughts, your comments, right? We have another caller. Good evening and welcome to See Results.
Good evening.
Hi, welcome. What's your name?
Sydney.
Thank you for joining us. So tell me, what are your thoughts about this narrative piece?
Well, I saw like 2 spelling errors, but other than that, the story was actually really, really nice, really good.
Excellent. Do you remember what the spelling errors were?
Yes.
Okay.
He spelled okay and slightly wrong.
Can you repeat that, please?
He spelled okay wrong. He put O and K, and it's supposed to be O-K-A-Y.
Okay, and what again?
Tightly.
Oh, yes. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, guys. Right, so let's go back to this piece here, and we're going to look at it paragraph by paragraph quickly, because it's a bit lengthy, right, but quite enjoyable, I must say. Had us intrigued the entire time. Both our callers seem to agree with me. Minor errors, right, grammatical errors, spelling errors, and a bit of punctuation errors, but let's get to that so we can help Jonathan and all of you at home, right, understand what were the errors in this piece, right. So let's just go to the line, right, this line here. at the JTA supermarket located C3 Mall Current, my dad and I was standing, right? Actually, it's supposed to be we're standing. We have two subjects here joined by and. When two subjects are joined by and, it is followed by a plural verb, right? So just keep that in mind, and I would have mentioned that to Jonathan when he submitted this piece initially, so he already knew that, right? So that was the error there, were. Right, let's go again, see if we find anything. We heard a loud crack, crack, crack. Now, crack, 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 correct, right? Onomatopoeia, great use of figurative language. It's up to you if you would like to put it in capital letters, but common letters is also fine. It's not a problem. May not necessarily need to be in quotation marks, but you definitely need your exclamation marks, right? So a good point with that there. I liked how he described the scent, atrocious scent of burnt wires. That scent comes to you, right? You picture something really terrible or something burnt so badly, right, that the scent is unbearable. Right, began to panic, except for my dad, right, who was more alert than a venomous snake. And that's a great comparison, right? We know how snakes, our venomous snakes are, right? So you have that image in your mind. You know his dad is well up to the time. He's aware. He's looking at what is happening, right? I'm looking for another error here. Good. It was already a busy Friday evening and shoppers was hustling. Right, so shoppers, plural, so it's supposed to be followed by a plural verb. Plural subject is followed by a plural verb, so shoppers were hustling and bustling when the alarm went off. My dad urged me not to be scared and stay close to him, since he was determined to guide and assist everyone to safety. As I looked to the far end of the supermarket, I saw layers of thick black smoke emerging from the back of the building like an erupting volcano. Again, you would notice the use of figurative language, more specifically, a simile here, right? Making that comparison to a volcano, and we can see why. Although I was swallowed by fear, I trusted my dad because he is a retired firefighter and he has experience in handling drastic situations. He started ushering people by asking everyone to form a single fine line. Now, this is imagery. You can actually picture if somebody forms a single or a group of people forming a single file line. Right, so great use there. This, he said, will make it quick and effective to evacuate everyone safely to the nearest exit. We heard a loud cry, again, onomatopoeia, from the back of the building. Right, so we go on to all of this here. Right, I'm just looking for the parts with good. As we approach, there she was, a petite old lady on a motor cart. Just a comma missing here. As we approach, there she was, comma, a petite old lady, right? She seemed to be stuck between the aisle and this here, one of your spelling errors, aisle here, right? Supposed to be A-I-S-L-E, so your homophones come into play here. So remember which aisle you're supposed to be using, and it's supposed to be A-I-S-L-E, right? So a minor spelling error here, right? I was unable to walk. Her gray eyes were gleaming through the smoky atmosphere, right? Another spelling error here, smoky, S-M-O-K-Y, right, instead of EY, atmosphere, with streaks of tears streaming down from her frail and fragile face, right? I love that expression. I like how you describe that, this old lady for us. We picture her, we can visualize her clearly, right? Maybe somebody's on the floor, right, struggling to get up, right, when this is frail and fragile. Her lips were peeled and pressed into a tight, thin line. The old lady said, "My name is Clara, kind sir. My son dropped me off. I went to pay his phone bill at Digital Pay Center." "Okay, Miss Clara, don't you worry, your pretty little head." Right? So he's being kind, right? Probably a gentleman in the situation. He's trying to bring comfort to her, right? You are going to be okay. So somebody brought this up here. But just know that it is in quotation marks, right? If it was not in quotation marks, then it would be a problem, right? But this is fine as well. But if you wish to spell out the word okay, right, that's even better. My fearless father comforted Miss Clara by telling her that he was going to carry her out in his arms safely, right? I want to go to this line here. "No problem, ma'am," Dad replied, "but we must hurry." The old lady with her skin sickly gray colored, right? So even if you did not mention the word colored and you said the old lady with her skin sickly gray, right? We know what you are talking about. We can picture that color of her skin. Right, but this is fine. Nothing is wrong with that. The old lady with her skin sickly gray colored with her wrinkled arms, right? So you don't need to say with her wrinkled arms. So with her skin sickly gray colored and wrinkled arms, hugged my dad's neck as he lifted her off. Lifted her off. Just give me 1 second there. The motor cart. Hold on tight, he said to her and asked me to go get her handbag. Right, so our next spelling error I want to bring to your attention as we hustle vigorously, right, V-I-G-O-R-O-U-S-L-Y, to the nearest exit. A loud noise echoed, crack, crack, crack. Again, boom, onomatopoeia. Right, so we are seeing a variation in figurative language here. Right, so great job so far. The air was thick with choking fumes. The ground trembled and shook as items were crashing to the floor. Frightened thoughts racing through my mind as I felt the wave of fear rush into my palpitating heart. Right, as we hurried through the dark, ominous clouds of smoke, a blaring sound of a siren was heard. Finally, I said with tears in my eye, and I want you to pay attention to this. Finally, I said with tears streaming down my cheeks. Right, this could have been one sentence here, full stop, and start of a new sentence, capital D. Dad told me, don't lose faith now. Help has arrived. Right, could have been two sentences there. There was a sea of red rushing towards us. It was the firefighters charging through the front entrance with their slithering hoses. Right, so nice imagery there. Right, they attacked the flames with full force. And I just want to point out any other errors here. Right, cheers of jubilation filled the atmosphere as both my dad and I exited the building. Right, just skimming through really quickly because as we said, and we already read this piece, right? So, okay, great. Right, so that's about it. Okay, great. This one error here, tightly, right? And somebody did draw our attention to this. So it's not TH, but TIGHTLY, right? So overall, excellent job, Jonathan. Job well done. Minor spelling errors, grammatical errors, punctuation, right? Just work on those, you know, those points, a little bit of work, but overall, excellent, terrific work, right? So you're on the right path, my friend. Continue working just as you are. Dedicated and very hard worker, you know, every week he's submitting his work, awaiting feedback, and here we are showcasing his work, right? So excellent job, and I encourage all students to continue with the great work that you have been doing. And we have some really diligent students. I must applaud you, right? You all take the time to go this extra mile to do the quizzes that we have up, despite the many homework I know that a lot of you have, right? But it's for your benefit. It's for the benefit of getting ready for the essay exam. It is your, you know, it is going to work in your favor, right? So keep it up. And I'm going to read another piece. We have about 10 minutes. So let me see if I can get the second one done. It's not as long, okay? It was a regular Sunday afternoon. My dad and I were at Massey Store supermarket in Gulfview. We surveyed each aisle, strolling our shopping cart. Finally, we arrived in line, ready to cash our groceries, when an unexpected scene happened, right? And I'm just underlining it, so when I review it, it's easy for me to identify the errors, right? I don't have to read it again twice. Finally, we arrived in line, ready to cash our groceries, when an unexpected scene happened. As we were about to put our items on the conveyor belt, an ear-splitting beep pierced my ear. Rumbling voices filled the air as I stood motionless. I noticed the frantic faces of the shoppers running like ants when their nest is attacked. As I was hit, and I'm going to underline this because I want to draw your attention to that as well. As I was hit back to reality, I looked behind me and saw my father with the most sorrowful expression, right? Then I was alerted by raging flames engulfing the dessert section, and thick gray smoke filled the air. Fire, fire, were the frantic screams heard. Questions overwhelmed my mind. Am I going to die? Will I be able to get through this horrifying terror? Momentarily, I heard my father shouting, "Julia, Julia, where are you?" I was elated since I located his voice from all the wailing. My father spotted my red shoes and ran up to me. He hugged me, grasped my hand, and ran through the thick smoke to the nearest exit. At last, we made it out of the paranormal. Deep breaths were taken as sirens were heard in the distance. I gasped aloud as I saw how the building illustrated from the outside. I looked at my father as his face wrinkled in worry. Reporters rushed to the scene and got live videos on the raging fire. I could have heard my mom's screams from way back home. My father grabbed my hand and ran towards our vehicle. Tears flowed like a river as I experienced the worst nightmare ever. That was a day I would never forget. Written by Julia Benjamin. Right? Unfortunately, we don't have time to take calls to hear your opinions about this piece. Right? But great job, Julia. Couple things, of course, that we can do to improve our writing. But overall, you know, outstanding work, like I said, by all our students. Keep striving, keep working, right? Keep up the dedication, right? So I'm going to go to what I have underlined. Right now, not everything that I have underlined here is an error, right? Of course, we are highlighting the positives and some of the things that we can work on to improve. So let's look at this line. Finally, we arrived in line, ready to cash our groceries, when an unexpected scene happened, right? When an unexpected past tense scene happened, right? So not present continuous, but it should actually be past, right? As we were about to put our items on a conveyor belt, an air-splitting beep pierced my ear. Now, notice there is an exclamation mark after the word beep. Now, the word beep here is not used by itself as in onomatopoeia. Yes, it is onomatopoeia, but what I'm saying, you know, just as in the last exercise where we saw crash and boom and so on, you'll have an exclamation after it, that is fine. But when it's being used within a sentence such as this, it doesn't require an exclamation mark there, right? But I do understand what you were trying to achieve by using the word beep here. Rumbling voices filled the air as I stood motionless. I noticed the frantic faces, right? So this here is giving us some imagery, right? We can picture, you know, how the crowd is reacting, what they are doing, right? They are fearful of the situation. They are worried of the shoppers running like ants when their nest is attacked. Excellent, excellent comparison, use of simile there, right? We do know that, right? So that's, I applaud that comparison. Let's go to this line. Then I was alerted by raging flames engulfing the dessert section, right? So good use of describing the flames. So we have an idea of how the flames are burning, right? Engulfing, however, E-N-G-U-L, right? Not O, but U-L-F-I-N-G, right? So minor spelling error there, right? I always like the use of rhetorical questions here. So questions overwhelm my mind. Am I going to die? Will I be able to get through this horrifying terror? Right? So rhetorical questions, you're asking yourself this, right? Horrifying here, right? H-O-R-I-F-Y-I-N-G, right? So not horrifying, right? So you can probably just double check your spelling there. And here, where are you? I was elated since I located his voice from all the wailing, right? So wailing should just be W-A-I-L-I-N-G and not H. Yeah, so another spelling error there. Here, he hugged me, grasped my hand, and ran through the thick smoke to the nearest exit, right? So just a full stop is missing there, right? At last, we made it out of the paranormal, right? Now, for whatever reason, I don't know why these letters are mixed up here, but she did submit it properly, right? So probably just a typo on our behalf, but it's supposed to read paranormal. However, the word paranormal there is not quite suitable. Paranormal is something that we don't fully understand, like beyond scientific explanation and so on. In this case, it's not a paranormal, but I do understand what you are trying to say, right? You're trying to describe something that is so unreal, right? So probably nightmare, a different word to use, or something a bit more suitable in this case, right? Let's go to the next line. Deep breaths were taken as sirens were heard, just a minor typo here. In the distance, I gasped aloud as I saw how the building illustrated from the outside, right? So also notice the word illustrated here, improperly used, right? Or not correctly used. This is not the most suitable word. Illustrated depicts a picture or so on, probably from a drawing. So you could have probably said, I saw how the building appeared or looked, right? From the outside, or any synonym to go with that. Right? I looked at my father as his face wrinkled in worry. Excellent description again, right? I could have heard my mom's screams from way back home, right? So this line goes hand in hand with the previous line which says reporters rushed to the scene and got live videos on the raging fire. So due to the live videos, right, she's saying that, you know, her mom is at home, maybe looking at those live videos. Now she's in panic, right? She could hear her mom screams from way back home, a little bit of oxymoron, exaggeration, right? So look how these students are utilizing the figurative language throughout their writing, right? Excellent job, right? Tears flowed like a river. Again, use of simile. As I experienced the worst nightmare ever. That was a day I would never forget. Or this day will forever be embedded in my mind or etched in my memory or anything like that, right? This is fine, but you can spice it up a little bit, right? So, okay, so those are the two pieces I was able to read to you or share to you, right, from our very own students, our Edmodo class. Now, as you know, for the new persons, you know, who are just joining us, the Edmodo class is an educational class, right? You download the app, edmodo.com, and become a member instantly, right? Just a couple steps for you to follow for instructions for students or parents if you would like to join the class. Now, you must enter the class code. It's on your screen right there for you, right? Once you enter the class code, you immediately become a participant. Only the students, however, will be able to take the quizzes. Parents, you are there to monitor and to assess your child to help them along the way. I do encourage all our new members, you know, to become a member of the Edmodo class, be a part of this wonderful forum. It's a community of learners, right? So become an active member. And those of you who are already part of it, remember to submit your quizzes. They are due tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. Don't forget, guys, you know, as we draw closer to the SCA exam, we have reruns of the SCA program or C results every day. So Monday to Sunday, basically, right, from 8:30 to 10:30, as well as we have reruns from during the week, so Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday show every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m., right? So you have C results morning and evening, right, to help you get ready for SCA exam. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can find all of our videos easily, or if you wish, you can join us on our C results page on Facebook. Just remember, guys, those of you on the live right now, remember to like and to share this with your family members, friends, and to all our, you know, students and students who we wish to help, right, getting ready for this exam. Okay, so we are at the end of our program for the week. It's Thursday, so which means we'll be joining you back right here on Monday. Monday we have ELA and we have mathematics, right? We are on every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. So do have a wonderful weekend, guys. You know, get some rest. Stay safe, you know, maintain personal hygiene and all of those things, and your family members as well, you know, keep them safe, right? Do have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys right here Monday.